Hey guys, Fort Worth Glock Guy here with a video for you. It's been a while, and so I watched a video recently, this morning actually, from Scotch and Things. I don't know if you are aware of his channel, but I've been a subscriber of his for a long time, and he posed the question, when did it become a thing not to carry a knife? Because if you think back through our grandfathers and our fathers, that was very common, and it wasn't frowned upon by any means to carry a knife because it was a tool. In fact, a lot of our grandfathers probably carried the same knife and used the same knife until it was just unusable, and then they'd buy a new knife, and they'd have one knife for a majority of their life, and then as soon as it just got whittled down to barely anything, then they'd buy a new knife. And nothing like we do as collectors, where we kind of stockpile knives. But anyways, his question was, when did it become a thing when it wasn't normal to carry a knife? And for me, I born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, graduated high school in the mid 90s. I was in Boy Scouts from, elementary school through mid high school. Yeah, I ended up getting my Eagle Scout, and I always carried a Victorinox. That was just what Boy Scouts did. Be prepared. And so, like, some of these I've had for a long time. Like this particular one I've had for a long time. In fact, I'll show you towards the end of this video. I've got a little bit of a collection up above, and I'll show you what that is. But some of these have been around for a long time, and these were kind of the staple of what I used. My dad, I remember him carrying a case knife, like a peanut or something. I don't remember exactly what model it is, but I remember my dad, because he'd clean his nails using his knife. And I know my grandfather did the same thing. I don't remember specifically what knives that they carried, but I know that it was a slip joint of some kind. And for me growing up, I carried Swiss Army knives just because I was a Boy Scout, and that's what I did. You can even tell, like, some of these are very worn down just because I've had them for so long. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you a date on these, but I know I've had them for a long time. This one does have a date on it, 1987. Like, it's been through some stuff. My juice I've had for a long time. I can't say I was the original owner of this juice, but I can tell you that the age date on this, down in the well, it says 0801. So August of 2001. That's how old that piece is. And again, I've just always had tools. I've always had, like, a Swiss Army knife of some kind in my collection. Probably in the mid 2000s, 08, 09 or so, I got into, I had an old case knife. I don't remember if it was my dad's or my grandfather's. And so I got into collecting the mini copper locks because that one I just really liked. And I had a nice collection of these, and I ended up selling some of them, but I still have some. And it wasn't until I started my YouTube channel in 2010 or 11 or 12, somewhere in that zone, where I got into some modern knives, more nicer knives, Spydercos and Benchmades and the Ontario Rat everybody had to have. And then much later, I sold and traded and bounced around, and then I finally landed on Chris Reeve and Hinder and that kind of thing. So anyways, and I still carry those. I've got my Sebenza that I've carried a Sebenza since at least 2017. I mean, almost 90% of the time that's what I carry. I carried a 21 for a long time, and then I got a 31. I've been carrying that one for at least 4 or 5 years, and it shows. And they're great knives. and I will never not carry a modern folder. And so, but to get back to point, when did it become not a thing to carry knives? And for us as collectors, it's probably blasphemy not to carry a knife. But if I had to pinpoint a time and place, I remember in the late 80s, I remember kids in high school had gun racks in the back of their pickup truck, and they had a shotgun or they had a rifle in the back of their pickup truck, and it wasn't questioned. There was no laws against it, and there were no, it just wasn't a thing. It wasn't a big deal. I grew up in Houston, and of course times have changed quite a bit since then. So I'm guessing maybe in the sometime in the 90s, maybe things changed. You know, gun laws started being enacted where you couldn't have a gun on a school campus or a government facility, and maybe that's when they started cracking down on any weapons at all, so you couldn't have a knife on you as well when you entered the building. But I remember growing up, I mean, I had a classic on me, gosh, through middle school and high school. I actively remember carrying these around in high school, and it wasn't illegal, so I did it. And it was just one of my things. Growing up in Boy Scouts, to be prepared. So it's just kind of always been a thing. But if I had to pinpoint a time and place when that happened, I guess maybe the mid-90s would be my best guess. So anyways, thought I'd share that thought with you, and then bring you up above my workbench and show you some of my old stuff. I don't know if you guys remember the mini Maglite, and I had this little black one here. That was this and that. That was my everyday carry in high school. I mean, that's what I had, and I had a Zippo lighter as well, which I thought was cool. So anyways, the old mini Maglites. I have a big one too in the house. One of those, I think it has like 3 or 4 D batteries. But yeah, here's all my classics. They're all different colors. And then some Midnight Managers and 74 millimeters. Over here I've got some 84 millimeters, 91 millimeters, and just going down the line. And then down there is some Trekkers, one-handed Trekkers. So anyways, like, this has been kind of the life since as far back as I can remember, in high school, in middle school, even in elementary school. When I was in before Boy Scouts, Webelos, I remember having a knife. I mean, I probably got it when I was 8, 9, 10. I don't remember exactly, but I've just always carried one around and never thought anything of it, and still do to this day. So anyways, just some ramblings. Hope you guys are doing well. Good to talk to you. Great to hear from you, and stay in touch. Fort Worth Glock Guy out.